Right. Good evening. So I wanted to come on because, oh, you got it. Okay, good. Um, so I wanted to host tonight and I purposely titled tonight's live, I'm just gonna, um, that your testimony is your story. And I kind of shared the picture that I shared for a reason. So I'm going to kind of give you guys a little bit of a backstory of me because I don't think not that many people know my story and know all about me. There's some that are brand new in here, and then there's some that's known me for a long time and I shared. But for any newbies, I'm Ashley. So I'm one of the 4K leaders here in the tribe. I've been thriving for over 2 years now, and it's been the best decision of my life. I'm very thankful for it. I have watched Shay and Jess for a long time, since March, obviously, when they started. And I just reached out to Shay first. Either way, I knew I would have been making the right decision no matter who I linked with because they're both amazing and they're both amazing leaders and they just had that drive. So, kind of backing up a little bit prior to that was I was married young at 21, had my first child at 22, and then my second at 24. I had dealt with in a long time some very toxic situations in my marriage at the time. Something I never talked about because I really, really kept a lot of my personal business to myself. So it kind of surprised some people when I shared that I was getting divorced. But because I played on this whole everything was sunshine and rainbows, and I played that up real good on social media that everything was perfect. I had the perfect marriage, perfect kids, everything was just perfect. And then things started to slowly crumble. His mom had passed away. Then, not even a year later, I lost my mom. And that's kind of when things really started to spiral out of control. Um, I got very sick, which is that picture. I had gotten diagnosed with asthma 6 years ago, and it got really bad that I almost died. I was intubated. I was in the hospital for over a week and a half. They didn't think I was going to make it. And, thankfully, through grace of God, I am good. But during that whole season, with me recovering and getting better, like I said, my marriage was in a very bad spot. And there was a lot of mental and verbal abuse, making me feel really bad about who I was. And so there was a lot of brokenness that was already kind of played into my head with him. And it kind of, then it came to physical abuse, where I took action on that and had to take care of some things. But then I had to look at myself and look at my kids and say, what am I teaching them by allowing a lot of this negativity and allowing this toxic behavior to kind of play in to our house? And, I kind of was able to tell him, get out, get out of my house, because this is my house. And thankfully he left. And then it was me rebuilding myself, rebuilding a person that has been broken down and beaten since I was 17 years old, because I just dealt with a lot of insecurity, a lot of self-doubt about myself. And then, of course, next chapter came being a single mom and wondering, how am I ever going to do this? Like, there's no way that I can do this whole parenting thing by myself. And there was a lot of contemplation of getting back with him because I didn't think I could do it. And then that's kind of when, probably a little bit of a year and a half later, when I reached out to Shay and starting Lavelle and kind of starting this journey. And I gotta tell you, this is when I say that it's not so much that the products and the company saved my life, but the opportunity saved my life, because I was so in such a hole in my spirit. And I was just rebuilding, getting back in church and just all of these different things. And being able to be a part of a sisterhood and being part of a team like this was something that I needed. And God knew I needed this. And, it came down to where, we started getting to the whole thing about self-development. and learning about what your 5 things are, learning about who you are. There was times where she would be like, "Who are you?" And I'm thinking, well, I like to do these things, but I didn't really know who I was. I didn't know what could I really talk about, because I was so shield that I didn't want to talk about being a single parent. I don't want to talk about all these different things that were going on, this roller coaster that I had been going through, and it took me probably another year to really kind of dive into talking about these situations and these stories. And so I'm kind of sharing this for you all because I just want you to understand that your story is the most impactful and unique story you can ever tell, because it's yours. Nobody can copy and paste it. Nobody can duplicate it. People can try. They can try to act like, oh, they have the same story as you, but they don't. And that was one thing that being a part of this really taught me, was that my story is special and special alone. And you keep sharing your story. You don't ever stop sharing, because the thing of it is, there are people out there that are wanting to know that they are not by themselves in this. There are plenty of other single moms that are hoping that they are not alone in the breakdown and the struggle behind the scenes. There are people that have probably been in the hospital that doctors told them, you will never be the same, or you will never come out of whatever happened in the hospital stronger than ever. I had doctors tell me, hey, guess what? You probably aren't going to sing again because you pulled a tube out of your throat, so you damaged your vocals, so you probably aren't going to sing anymore. You're probably not going to be able to work out anymore. And yeah, life's just going to be really, really crappy for you. Powerlifting and singing at church. So I mean, that is the biggest thing, is you don't let somebody else tell you your story. You hold the pen to your story. You hold it. And for anyone to try to tell you differently, don't allow them, because that is the biggest thing. You hold the pen to your story. So you make the decision however you want to write it. And that is why, we incorporate and talk about Thrive, and we talk about the products and everything along with our story. I can say, I have the stamina and the energy to even endure 3-hour workouts at the gym, because thank God for these 3 steps. I'm able to do just different things. You incorporate Thrive and your story along together, but don't just forget about who you are and just be all about talking about Thrive. There's nothing wrong with talking about Thrive, but incorporate yourself. Incorporate the things that you like to do. I used to not like to listen to podcasts. I used to hate them. I used to hate always reading about self-developing and filling my tank. Now I'm all about it. And I will talk to people about that when they're like, why do you have such a positive insight? Like my coworkers that have known me for years, they never understood. Before I was just like doom and gloom, like everything was terrible. Gosh, I hate Mondays. I hate Tuesdays. I hate Wednesdays. I hate every day of the week. And then I came back once I started learning about taking care of me, and they saw a different energy that I was bringing to the table. They're like, there's something, you're not who you were when you left the last school year. And I'm like, you're right, I'm not. And I'm very thankful. And then I just shared my testimony, and I just kept on showing up and shining my light. And then I had parents, coworkers that are like, oh, I saw that you do Thrive. Like, you need to talk to me, because what you've got going on, I need that. I need what you're spitting out. But on the same front, me being real and honest with who I am, and just talking about life. And they are inspired by that. They're not just inspired by the Thrive posts. Keep talking about Thrive, keep showing your Thrive and your steps and all that stuff, but they're more inspired by what you have to what you have to share besides that. They want to know that, hey, you're just another human being. That's why I love when we talk about how we don't cold message people, and we don't give this like scripted thing on people's inboxes. We are just ourselves, and that's all they want to see. They just want to see that you're still the same person you were before you started bringing Thrive into it, but they're going to definitely see a glow up. They're going to see a change. And don't get discouraged when people aren't initially inside your inbox, or aren't initially texting you right away. There are people that were watching me for over 2 years that just now started reaching out to me, talking to me about Thrive. You keep going. You keep talking about who you are, and you keep talking about how great you feel because of what these products have brought to you. We all know what we have our hands on, so we don't need to convince anybody. They're going to see it for themselves. They're going to see it by the way you stand stand up tall, the way that you are just showing that you are not allowing anything to break you down. There are going to be storms. There are going to be moments where you are thinking in your head, like, there's no way that I'm going to get through this season. But you are. Think about all the stuff that we've been dealing with COVID and quarantine and social distancing, and now with masks and all that stuff. You know, we didn't expect that to happen. But you know what? I noticed so many stronger women on this feed come out of it even stronger than they did when they entered. You know, we thought 2020 was going to be a totally different year, and then God said, nope, we're going to do something else. And this either made some people or broke some people at the end of the day. And that is also your story. What we had to deal with these past 6 months, that is your story. So don't think that you have nothing to speak upon during this time. I actually just went live talking about how hard it was being single parent during social distancing, because everyone had their struggles. People lost their jobs, or people got their income cut. And I can't imagine, you know, obviously for 2-income households, but then think about 1-income household families. So don't think that you don't have anything to share. There is plenty for you to share. There is plenty of you to talk about in your story. But if you don't know what your 5 things are, you need to relook at what it is that you what it is about yourself. You really need to make a list. And if you have more than 5 things, that's great. It's better to have more things to discuss than say I don't have anything, because that's not true. For anyone to say that there is nothing that they can share or talk about, we need to figure that out, because there is something that you're passionate about. Like 95% of us in here, or 98% of us here, are moms. If you are not passionate about your kids, then oh boy, we have a problem, because that is something we can all talk about. I am now facing this next stage of teenage years. I'm going to be texting Kristen a lot. Like, I don't know if she's going to make it. Like, just think about all of these different things that you have to talk about. You know, Shay's now in the new stage of being a mom of 3 instead of a mom of 2. And, you know, the different stuff that she's got to go through. We all go through these different stages of life. So don't tell me that there's nothing you can't talk about. There is something. So what is it that you are truly passionate about? What makes your heart soar? What is it that you just want everyone to know? It can be something as silly as, I like to collect stamps. I don't know. But there's something. So don't ever say that there is nothing to talk about. Don't ever say that your story doesn't matter, because your story matters just as much as the next person. Your testimony is just as significant as the person next to you. Don't try to compare yourselves to any of these other ladies in here. I can't compare my single mom's story to Christy, because her story is completely different from mine. I can't compare mine to Justine, because hers is different from me. So don't sit there and say, I can't because I'm not such and such leader. No, get that out of your head. Get that out of your thought, get that out of your mind frame, because you have an impactful story. You have something that just shines so bright that people are going to gravitate to you. There are people that want to hear you. They don't want to hear me. They don't want to hear Kristen. They don't want to hear Stacy. They want to hear you. I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying? So don't think that you can't talk about it, and go live about it. Don't just make a post. Go live. Let them hear your heart. You know, we can write a long given post all day long, but sometimes they just need to hear your voice. They just need to see your facial expressions. They just need to see the passion behind whatever it is that you're sharing. That's going to make them be like, wow, okay, yeah, I get it. So don't be shy. And it doesn't have to sound good. Nobody's first, second, third, fourth lives are cute. So don't get in your, don't think it's got to be this scripted thing, that it has to be perfect to the T or it's a fail. Absolutely not. The grit and the gritty and the ugly and sometimes the hot mess, that makes more, that brings more to somebody than anything else. So I really kind of wanted to just make this like short, sweet-ish, to the point, was that don't think that your story isn't impactful for somebody, because it is. It is just as vital and just as important as the next person's. And they're going to relate to what you have to share. Maybe not what another person that might be sharing Thrive and Lavelle shares, because there are plenty of people that are now talking about Thrive, but they may not have the same impact the way you do, because maybe they're not being relatable. Maybe they're just putting on a game and people can read through it. They want to know, okay, what are you doing? They want to hear you. So don't stop because you see somebody else talking about it. Don't stop because, oh, someone didn't sign underneath me. You keep going. You keep going. You keep showing up. You keep sharing your story, because there is going to be that person that's going to say thank you. Thank you for pouring your heart out. Thank you for being so honest and just sharing you, because I needed to hear that today. So never stop doing that, because you have no idea what that's going to do for another person. So with that, our amazing leader, Shay, has a closing statement. So I'm very excited to hear what she has to say.
Closing statement? I'm not the president, my goodness. Like, should I have a speech ready? I'm not ready for this. That was really, really, really good. Thank you so much for everything you said. There were so many good things in there that I hope you guys really, really listen to. And sometimes I think, just going off of what Ashley said, sometimes I think that once I've said my story, everybody knows it, but it's not true. And that's why it's a constant thing to always be putting yourself out there. I was just talking to someone this last week, telling them, you know, about things from my past and my story and things like that. And they were like, I never knew that. I had no idea. And I was like, what? I've talked about this so many times, but you just never know when that person's going to see your stuff. And that's why we have to like constantly remember that just because you said it once or just because you put it out there once doesn't mean that the right person at the right time saw it, right? So you got to constantly be just doing that. That's part of what we do. It's part of growth. It's part of connecting and building relationships, which is, like Ashley said, key to your business. I cannot tell you how many times people have been like, I know someone who sells Thrive, but I'd rather buy it from you. I connect with you, or I love your story. You're always you're always energetic. You're always, you know, blah, 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 blah. Or, you know, I've gotten before where it's like, you do this in a tasteful way, right? We're not cold messaging. We're not sending voice memos to people on their birthday that we've never talked to before. Guys, I've been getting the craziest messages from people in this industry sending videos. I'm like, girlfriend, we have never spoken. Like, why are you sending me a video? Hold up. Like, I need my privacy. My goodness. I feel like when you get to that point, and like Ashley was saying, like, you know, learning yourself, learning your 5 things. When you start learning about yourself and start really loving who you are, like, your story just comes out, right? It just becomes a natural thing, and you will start attracting so many people that you had no idea were even listening or watching you. So just keep that in mind. I really just wanted to just talk a little bit because I haven't done a Zoom in forever, it seems like, but I just want to shout you guys out. This is crazy. The amount of sales that have come in just like these last 2 days. I've never seen numbers like this, guys. In the 2.5 years that I've been in this is blowing my mind. But I want to say this because I've been where you are. You know, I started from the ground up, right? Nobody handed me anything. Nobody grew anything for me. I came in here with hope and some faith and some grit, and I just went for it, right? And I remember, you know, there were several months where I wasn't able to sign the deal with people that I truly needed in order to, you know, I think it was for one of my bonuses. Like, I'm grateful that I got the bonus, but there were a couple of different months where like I wasn't bringing in the volume I needed to bring in. And I was sharing this with some of our leaders today, that I really believe that your efforts never go in vain, but I do think that there are seasons in your business that God kind of either rains down or he pulls back. And, for the last couple months, I've felt that pullback because honestly, I wasn't in a place where I could be taking on new promoters and growing a new teams and this and that. And as much as I didn't want to go through that time of like not enrolling people, like that was hard for me because I'm a enroller. I love enrolling people. I love helping people. I want to get as many people in this business as I possibly can. But sometimes God allows you to work on you for a season, right? So if you find yourself in a moment where you're not enrolling like you want to, or you feel like it's quiet, you feel like your season is it's like in a lull, is that what they say? Just trust it. Trust the process. Don't stop. Don't just quit. Don't give up. Don't say, hey, this isn't working out. There are seasons that are meant for bigger reasons than we can think of. And had I not taken that time to really pour into myself and work on my health, work on my, I was growing a baby and all that kinds of stuff, my mindset might not be where it is right now. And it's strong, guys. My mindset's strong right now. And I think that goes back to giving myself grace, realizing that a season is just that. It's for a season, and be okay with it, but also never let up on it. So, even though I wasn't as strong as I usually have been in the past, I didn't give up, guys. I didn't let off the gas. I was working with people behind the scenes. I was trying my hardest to grow what has already been planted here and continue it that way. And because of that, I'm now in a place and in a position where I can pour out, guys. I can pour out. And I don't think that's normal. I just had a baby. I should be sleep deprived. I should be feeling gloomy. I should be feeling like overwhelmed. And of course, I have my moments where it's overwhelming and life is different. But what I'm saying, and hopefully I'm getting this across, is that don't give up in a season where you can't understand it, in a season where it's quieter than normal, or you're not enrolling as much as you'd like, or you're not attracting as many potentials as you used to. Take that time to grow yourself, grow you, learn your fives, learn your 50s, however many things you need to learn about yourself to be confident in who you are and to grow you as a person, as an individual, and as a leader for your future team. So what I was going to say, because I kind of went off on a tangent, was Jess and I are living out things right now that we used to write on paper or even just think about because it would be too crazy to even talk out loud. Like when we started, we had already been burnt out from network marketing. We had already been burnt out from our last company, So technically we could have come in here and been like, let's see what happens, and had that kind of attitude, but we didn't. And I truly believe that because we wanted different and we pushed for different and we did different, we're seeing different. And I was saying this to someone this week, that what got you to where you are now is not what's going to get you to that next step. Let's just be real. Whatever actions you've taken to get you to that first level, to get you to VIPs, to get you to 12K, whatever it is that is your rank, it's not going to take you to the next level. You can't expect to keep doing the same thing over and over and want a different result. You've got to bring yourself to another level of action and momentum and movement, all those things. So if going live once a week was what happened and helped you, going live once a week isn't going to take you to the next level. You just can't expect it to. And for Jess and I, we knew, like, coming into this, we had to do different. We had to do more than what we had done in the past. We had to just really evolve in such a way that it was 10xing everything. Our mindset, our hearts, our growth, the whole spiel. And so I want to challenge you guys tonight, especially because you're on here, which means that you mean business and you really want this. I truly believe that the people that are on the trainings and on the team lives and things that we do, those are the ones. Those are the ones you'll see with the new rank sticker, you know? Those are the ones that are going to be driving the cars for free every freaking month. That's what I'm talking about. Don't ever feel like you have evolved enough. Don't ever feel like you can't do another step, because you can. I can. Jess can. We all can. And we're going to go to that next level. But I want to say, for the women that are on here tonight, challenge yourself. Even tonight. I know this sounds crazy. It's already nighttime, right? Challenge yourself to go the extra mile. Do that one extra thing. Get whatever that may be. Maybe that is just commenting on 10 new people that you've added today. Maybe connecting with people, whatever it may look like. For me, that's my downfall. I seriously get annoyed with myself because I'll start scrolling. Does anybody else do that? You just scroll and it's like, Shay, stop yourself. First of all, you could be connecting with all of these people. But that's like what I'm saying. Take that extra time to do something intentional. And when you do, you're going to find yourself, oh, wow, I'm getting a lot of feedback from this, or I'm connecting with a lot more people, or wow, I have a lot more people wanting info on Thrive, or wanting info on what I've done to change my family's life. And, I just challenge you to go that extra mile. If you want that next step, if you want that, car bonus, or you want to go to that 40K level, or you want to go to that first level, whatever that looks like, do it, but do it different than what you did before. You know what I'm saying? We all have to strive to do something. So something that I'm doing right now is going live every day. I've challenged myself to go live on either one of my platforms, either Instagram or Facebook, every single day in this month of September, and I have done it, and I'm already seeing so much traction from just doing that, just going that extra step. And then once you feel like you're getting traction, it pushes you. It gives you this adrenaline that you can't describe, and it's really, I feel like I've just caught fire, a fresh wind as like come over me and my business, and I'm so excited about it. But I want to celebrate this fact, because Jess is on here. The fact that she's bought a house literally brings me to tears, because I'm her sister, so I've watched her throughout all of this, even before she started network marketing, wanting to have a home for her babies. I've lived in some of her houses. I mean, I've stayed in some of them, and we were talking about this the other day. One of them scared the death out of me. I mean, there were police cars always there, not at the actual house, but all around her. I mean, like, you would hear gunshots and stuff, and I'm just like, my gosh. But I remember, like, that's what they could afford. That's where they were, You got to do what you got to do to survive, right? But to watch her journey, to see her progression, to see her just like take on that ultimate Thriver challenge, knock the wind out of it, come up against all odds, right, guys? Like, seriously. And she could have very well given in to the fact that, like she said this at the beginning of the year, her credit score was nowhere near what it should be. There was a lot of debt that still needed to be taken care of, that kinds of stuff. Nobody wants to talk about how hard it is to actually buy a house and things like that. Get all your ducks in a row. It takes a lot of determination and discipline. So to watch all of this happen over these last years, and to see that not only has she come home from working a corporate job, but she's been able to grow her family. On top of that, she's been able to, you know, what did she used to say? I just want to feed my babies. I just want to bring home enough to feed my babies. And even though I'm sure her grocery bill is very high now with 3 boys that eat a ton, she's been able to not only do that, but pay for all those bills, knock out extreme debt, and buy a freaking house, guys. It's just crazy, but it's good. This is what I need you to remember, is that Jess started from ground zero as well, has built all of this, and that's what you can do here. You can do that. Don't talk yourself out of your potential, because it's all there, and it doesn't matter who you are. You can claim whatever is in your heart. Claim it. That's what Jess said for years. It took a couple years. How long have you been in this? For like 4 years now? Yeah, but in 4 years you can buy a house. Like, my gosh, not only that, you have a full-time income coming in. The potential here is, it's not capped. So just go for it. Just go for it. And I don't know about you, it's inspired me so much just to see Jessica and what she's done, even just this year. And so many people need what we have. They don't just want it, they need it. And it's up to us to constantly be sharing this opportunity with them. So I feel like I've talked too much. My throat starts getting dry, and that's when I know I need to shut up. So, oh my gosh. I just want to, I want to hug all of you guys. Like, that's crazy. One day we'll get to be all together and we can hug each other. But until then, I'm so glad that you guys are on here. I'm so glad you're showing up. I'm so glad that you haven't given in or given up, because there are people that are waiting on you. They're waiting to watch your story. They're waiting to watch your journey. They're waiting for you to buy a house or drive off in that car. They're waiting for your moment to release theirs. So just remember that. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the night. Bye.